So in today's video, we're going to talk about what are the new HOA laws in 2024. So as of the day that we're recording this video, Governor DeSantis has signed into law many both condo and HOA legislation. But in today's video, I want to focus solely on the HOA part. It's important for you to note that there was significant amount of changes, so I'm going to be giving like a 30,000 foot perspective on what are the changes and how they could potentially impact your association and what steps you should be taking. So the first one has to do really with the CAMs and our profession. It states that community association management companies or managers that have an agreement with an association must attend at least one meeting, which, you know, if you're managing an association, you should definitely be, I would say on a bare minimum, really attending quarterly, but I guess there were associations that didn't have any meetings. Next has to do with continuing education for CAMs that are managing HOAs. It's requiring 8 hours of continuing education every 2 years, but specifically for HOAs, they want 5 hours that are dedicated to HOA management and 3 hours that are dedicated to record keeping of an association. The next one I'm a big proponent of, it's basically changing the amount of units that HOA should have in order to have certain official records on the website. So HOAs that are 100 plus units will now have to have certain documents that are outlined in the statute that you must have up on an association website. This is a change because you had many associations that had 150 plus units. Now they're requiring 100 unit plus. In reality, in my opinion, I think all associations have a website, but obviously there's a cost associated to it. So this is going to provide both managers, board members, and residents the transparency that they need to be able to obtain their records. The next important item that I want to touch up has to do with financial reporting. HOA law before had it that if you hit a certain number within your budget, you would be required an audit. Well, now with the recent legislative changes, if you're an association with 1,000 plus units, doesn't matter what your budget number is, you will be required to have an audit. Next is the use of debit cards for board of directors. Condos and HOAs for a while did not permit the use of debit cards. However, it seemed as if it's continued to be used, and now what the legislators have done is if you use a debit card for your HOA as a board member, it can now be considered theft within Florida. A bit excessive in my opinion, but I guess they're trying to set an example that you are not supposed to use any debit cards within an HOA. The next change, which I'm most excited about because we've been advocating for this change for a very long time, it's the requirement of certification by board of directors. So previously, board members were required to read the documents and sign an affidavit or take a certification course. Well, now with the recent updates in legislation, now it is required for board members to take an educational course in order to serve on the board of directors. Once you take this educational course, it will be valid for 4 years. I wish they would require it every year because there's so many changes every year. But for HOA board of directors specifically, they do have requirements based on the number of units within your association. So if you're an HOA board of director or you're considering sitting on the board of directors of your HOA and your HOA has 2,500 or less units, you will be required to take a 4-hour course. If your HOA is more than 2,500 units, you will be required to take an 8-hour course. As a professional tip, I highly recommend you taking the course with an association attorney or with your association's attorney. You will find that you'll have organizations that are teaching the course. In my opinion, this course is going to have a lot of information that has to do with legislative changes, with laws. So you want to make sure that whoever's teaching the course is an attorney or that they have an attorney by their side so that any questions that you may have or things that may arise, you have a clear interpretation of what that law states. The next one has to do with HOA hurricane preparation. The new legislation now requires HOAs to have a hurricane preparation plan, and it also restricts board members from not allowing residents to do whatever they feel is necessary for proper hurricane protection. So what does this mean? What this means is that your association should be having a conversation with the attorney to review your current architectural guidelines, review whatever guidelines you may have for hurricane preparation, and that way you make sure that they align with what the legislation has recently, legislators I should say, have recently passed. While this encompasses some of the changes, there were many more changes or add-ons to the statute. However, we wanted to give you an idea of which are the most impactful for your HOA. If you have any questions or you'd like the full list of all the changes that were made or the actual bills that were passed, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach us by visiting our website, managedbyaffinity.com. You can also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as we have weekly videos coming out. I'll see you in our next video.